This one is more fucking funny. So, do y'all know Dead Domain? So, if you don't know, Dead Domain is a lefty content creator who, while there's things that she and I, or they and I, agree on, disagree on, that's every human being on the planet, I do, by and large, think that they are a wonderful fucking person. I've enjoyed every interaction I've had with them. I've enjoyed every project I've been a part of with them. I think they're a fantastic fucking person. Their content is good. They are good. Now, I learned who Dead Domain was because of a documentary that they did about the NIFB. For those who need a little bit of a history lesson, the NIFB are the New Independent Fundamental Baptists. They are a breakaway of the old Independent Fundamental Baptists who had a schism due to a bunch of scandals, some of those being sexual. For my part in my history, the school that I grew up in was partially founded and funded by the old IFB. So, very familiar with how they fucking operate from that perspective. As an atheist content creator, there was a time called the Pumpkin Saga, where one Jimmy Snow made fun of one NIFB pastor, Tommy McMurtry. Now, note, I said one NIFB pastor. I'm saying one NIFB pastor because there are so many of them across not only the country, but multiple other countries. That matters because the NIFB is actually, in reality, a cult that spans the globe. And they have such caustic views, such as, we want Sharia law in the United States if it means we get to kill gay people. And I wish I was kidding on that one, but I know for a fact that is something that I have done work on because I did a video on Onision, when Onision tried to make content defending Bible preachers, and Steven Anderson's like the easiest guy to point to. The Westboro Baptist Church is like the church that is known in the Baptist circles as the hate church, but the NIFB is the actual like global spanning organization that has infinitely more power than the Westboro Baptist Church. Unlike the Westboro Baptist Church, they never got turned into a meme outside of political and atheist circles. By the way, the Pumpkin Saga basically culminated in everybody just trolling Tommy McMurtry, saying that he may or may not want to fuck a pumpkin. And that was entirely Jimmy Snow's idea, and it went viral within our communities, and that was great. So, I say all that to give you the backstory for what we're about to watch. Dead Domain infiltrated Steven Anderson's cult, Steven Anderson being the head of the NIFB, and got interviews with his children, who admitted that their father was an abuser. But before we get into that, I want to show you guys some fan art. This one is from Chaotic Entity Comics, and they said that notice Suris used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, and so I drew her in Yugi's outfit. Changed the pants color because I was rushing. Yeah, usually Yugi's wearing blue jeans, but you know what? Also works. I think it's great. There's a lot of collars there. Please don't read into collaring my character. Anyways, as always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. That all said, let's go ahead and watch Steven Anderson for a little bit as he pisses and moans about Dead Domain, amongst other people. What?
I never want to see them ever again. And people are like, oh, you need to just make things right with your children, Pastor Anderson. You just need to just swallow your pride, be the bigger person. Hell no. Absolutely not. I never want to see them again.
He is so mad about the kids he abused not liking him.
Man, the title of my sermon this evening is Why I Do Not Want to Continue Pastoring. Why I do not want to continue pastoring. Now, let me say this first of all. I'm not quitting today, and I'm not even saying that I'm quitting at all, but I want to be very candid with you tonight about how I feel about things and what I'm going through. And, you know, God willing, I'm going to be back here on Wednesday night preaching.
Oh, no. He wants to stop being a hate preacher and telling gay people they need to get a firing squad at them? Oh, man. He's a little bitch.
And I'm going to preach as many sermons as I can, but I want to tell you that I'm very upset about my situation.
Good.
And if God does not intercede in my situation.
Oh, are you not confident that God's going to intercede? Are you not having whole confidence in your God's ability to provide for you? Really? Oh, that's so funny.
And fix my situation, then I do not want to continue. Let me tell you something. Over the past few years, I have become a very angry and bitter person.
No, you've been that for a very long time. We have evidence from your children that that was the case, and you were a very angry and bitter person, calling for the deaths of thousands of people. This is actually why when the NIFB did their Make America Straight Again campaign, they hosted their sermons across from the Pulse nightclub. And they did that on the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting in order to celebrate the killing of queer people at the Pulse nightclub. My guy, you were not made into a hateful person. You were not made into an angry person. You've been that for a very, very long time. And I know this because I've been covering you for almost a decade. I am quite familiar with you, your history, your character, all of it.
On the inside. Even though on the outside, you know, I'm showing up and smiling and doing the best that I can, I've become extremely angry because of what my 4 evil eldest children have done to me.
You want to know why it's the eldest children? Because they're the ones who were old enough to age out and escape. It'll be the 5 eldest children soon, and then the 6 eldest children, and then the 7 eldest children, and then the 8, because Steven Anderson is a part of the Quiverful movement, where they believe that they need to have as many babies as possible, usually white babies, so that they can make sure that A, white genocide does not happen in the United States, and B, they can populate the United States with all kinds of little itty-bitty Christians that will grow up to vote Republican. That's the Quiverful movement.
And what they did is so sick and so evil and so wicked, and it makes me very angry, and I've become a very angry, bitter person.
I think you were an angry, bitter person before, as evidenced by your abused children. Sean has dropped a link, and I am no longer clicking the link. Nope. I clicked it for a nanosecond, I heard music, and I didn't see an image. Clicking away now.
I'm just saying. I'm just telling the truth tonight. Proverbs 17:21 says this, "He that begetteth a fool doeth it to his sorrow, and the father of a fool has no joy." And you know what? That is the reality that I live with. The father of a fool has no joy. And you know what? It is impossible for me to move on from this, because even if I spend my entire day thinking about other things, I spend my entire day reading the Bible, studying, working, being busy with other things, every single night I go to bed, I have dreams about this, and I wake up every single morning, and this is the first thing on my mind.
Good. Good. I'm sorry, but you deserve to think about the kids you abused. I hate to tell you that, but that's just the reality of it, my guy. Good.
Every single morning. If I take a nap in the afternoon, this is the first thing on my mind when I wake up, period. Because I can't control what's in my subconscious of this garbage. It's also impossible for me to move on because multitudes of people continue to rub my nose in this every single day, 365 days a year. People online are every single day slandering me and lying about.
Well, we're not slandering and lying about you. We're taking the words that your children used and we're using them against you. It's not slandering. It's not lying. If you think it's lying, then please, by all means, take any of us to court. All of us. Do it. I fucking dare you. No balls.
And it never stops. For the last 21 years of pastoring this church, I have dealt with false accusations and slander, death threats, loss of jobs.
Oh no, the guy that says the gays should be killed had death threats happen to him? Who would have fucking guessed?
Multiple incidents of swatting at my house, false reports made to CPS, receiving dangerous and gross things sent to me in the mail, bank accounts canceled, giving platforms canceled, social media accounts deleted, being constantly told that I'm evil, constantly told that I'm an idiot, zero respect from my fellow loser fundamental Baptists over the last 21 years, zero respect from the sucky, lame, barely soul-winning old IFB.
God, he's so bitter. He's so angry. Guys, this is a direct end result of all of us. Every content creator who has ever done work on Steven Anderson, we are responsible for this. And I think that's great. I think that is fantastic.
Zero respect from them, only lies, slander, and trashing me, never backing me up in a battle, never standing with me. The pastor who sent me out has lied about me and slandered me nonstop for over a decade. Nothing but lies and slander and hate from my sending pastor. I've been labeled a hate preacher.
Because you are.
A cult leader.
Because you are.
Trashed in the
Because you are.
Media. And you know what? For 21 years, I have borne it all with a smile and said, none of these things move me. None of them move me. Come at me, bro. And I have gone through a lot of persecution and a lot of stuff. But let me just say this. You know, the things that have happened over the last 2 years are just too much. Because you know what? I have gone through a lot of persecution over the 20 years of pastor. But you know, it was sustainable. But I have been betrayed in the worst way by my only physical brother. And you know what? My poop stain of a brother, Clint, the evil piece of crap that is my brother Clint. You know, the only way that he could have screwed me over worse and betrayed me worse would be, I think, to commit adultery with my wife.
Guys, he's so... I have never seen him this mad. Oh, this is glorious.
It's pretty much the only worst thing that worthless piece of trash could have done. I've been betrayed by my only physical brother who I trusted, just totally betrayed me in the worst possible way. All 4 of my adult children have totally betrayed me. My best friend and fellow pastor, Roger Jimenez, David Berzins, who I did nothing.
Wait, he got betrayed by Jimenez? Oh, that's so good. Guys, Jimenez is one of the other really big NIFB people. They are one of they're one of the other big ones. Oh, that's so cool. Let's see here, NIFB churches. Yep, the Liberty Baptist one by Pastor Tommy McMurtry. Let's see, what's Jimenez's? The Verity Baptist Church. That's Jimenez's. That's his church. That's his best friend. He's been betrayed. How were you betrayed, Mr. Anderson?
Nothing but good for 18 years. Taught him everything, baptized him, got his wife saved, baptized her, and him and his piece of trash wife have just betrayed me, slandered me, evil, rotten people.
I'm just curious, does this guy sound like a man of God to you? Like, I recognize I'm an atheist, but if for some reason you are a Christian in my audience and you are hearing this, is this what you think when you think of a man of the cloth?
A whole nother long list. I mean, we could list all the so-called fake pastor friends in the dozens that have stabbed me in the back. 95 church members who abandoned me in 2024. And frankly, it's just a little much for me to handle. And you know what?
Wait, 95 people left your church and that... Oh, it's about money. It's about money. He's lost money. No people paying tithes. No money. That's what it is. You don't give a shit about people leaving the church unless, of course, there is money involved at that point.
Here's the thing. On the positive side, I will say this. We lost 95 people in 2024. I don't think anybody left the church in 2025 or 6 over this issue at all. You know, I will say that. But you know what? This kind of just intimate betrayal and just the continual trashing of me and my character and me just being labeled as just pretty much the worst thing that you could label anyone in America in 2026. I'm this wife beater, child abuser, right? That's my legacy. That's who I am on the internet now to every single person 1,000 times a day, 10,000 times a day.
Then maybe you shouldn't have been a child abuser. That's how you avoid that.
And frankly, I'm getting a little sick of it. I don't feel like the quality of the preaching has gone down. I feel like I've preached some of my best sermons in the last couple months and everything. I'm doing the best I can. I'm getting up here and I am praying for the power of the Holy Ghost. I'm preaching hard. I'm trying to lead the best that I possibly can. But I am tortured every single day in my own mind. And I have to fight a psychological battle every single week just to get up here and preach 3 times a week. I am tormented and fighting a battle in my own mind, a battle with myself that takes me days and days. And almost every Sunday, I think I'm not going to make it. Every Wednesday, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it.
Good. If you stopped, then there would be one less hate preacher spreading fucking terrible rhetoric. Like, you have a couple options, my guy. You can improve as a person. You can become a better, happier person. You can become a person who does not hurt people, but you've chosen not to be that person. So, I don't know what to tell you, my guy.
And it's like Monday, I'm just like, I don't want to preach. I got nothing to say. Screw it. Screw everything. You know, Tuesday, same way. And I'm trying to psych myself up just to get up and preach a Wednesday night sermon. Sorry to do this on the 250th anniversary of America. God bless America, because you know what? America is the best country in the whole world. But you know what? At the same time, I feel like modern American culture is part of what poisoned my children against me, because of the fact that they're taught this feminist, pro-faggot stupidity that our country promotes.
God, there is no hate quite like Christian love, is there?
It's like, how can I even raise my kids in this country if everybody's just gonna tell them the opposite of what the Bible is saying and what their parents are telling them? And then even their stupid uncle is gonna poison their minds. What is it that I want? You know, what do I want to happen? What is gonna fix this for me? Well, you know what? I want exactly what this verse says that God is going to do. I want to be avenged speedily. That's what I want.
Yeah, what does that look like? Lightning bolts? Like, does he kill the people you don't like? Is that what happens? I'm just curious here. I'm just very curious. I just want to know.
That's what I want. That's all I want. I'm not asking for anything crazy. I'm asking for one thing. I want to be avenged speedily. Now, if you would go to X.
Now, hold on. Just real quick. I want to see if maybe this video has... Yeah, this video has it. So YouTube, years ago, I made fun of Steven Anderson with a YouTube poop. And Steven Anderson, I don't know if it was him or what, but I got in trouble for that YouTube poop. So I think it's a good time to go ahead and celebrate that YouTube poop again. We're going to watch the YouTube poop, but we're going to watch it through a video of mine because the video was deleted. Look at the content. Let's see if it violates any of their policies. And then we're supposed to take training on it. So this is the video that YouTube has stripped off of my channel years ago.
Every marriage I've ever performed has been a gay marriage. You know, I'm in a gay marriage. Because gay means queers. If you go to a marriage and it's not gay, something's wrong with that marriage. If you're at the wedding and people aren't gay, something's wrong. You know, and that sounds weird to you because gay means queers. You don't even have to go back that far, and that's what it meant. I mean, how old is the Flintstones? Gay Stones meet the gay Stones. Have a yabba dabba do time. A dabba do time. We'll have a gay old time. Cheerful, happy, friendly. Oh, well, you know, what do you have against gay people? I say, no, absolutely nothing. I love gay people. I'm gay. You know, I'm in a gay marriage. I hope one of your children turns out to be gay. I'm like, I hope they all turn out to be gay. I'm gay. I'm the sodomite. I'm the pervert. Obviously, later on, the marriage might be on the rocks, but good night. If you're at the wedding and people aren't gay, something's wrong. I'm gay.
Let's see if maybe the problem was in... So this guy is so progressive. Yeah, so that video got struck off my channel. It was considered hate speech. How it was considered hate speech, I don't fucking know. So it lives on inside another video on my channel. Because fuck YouTube sometimes, man.
Exodus chapter 21. So what is it that I want? I want God to fix my situation, and I want to be vindicated publicly. I want to be publicly vindicated. I do not deserve to have my reputation trashed and slandered to the level that it has been. You know what?
Actually,
I'm willing to be lied about, slandered. Hey, count it all joy when people, you know, say all manner of evil against you falsely. I've been doing that for 21 years. This is extreme. This is beyond.
My guy, you don't even have half of what happened to Job. You should be able to handle this just fine. What's the problem? Job handled his wife getting killed by God, his children, his flock, all of it. Surely you can handle that. Surely you got this, man. Look at Job.
The pale, and I'm sick of it, and I don't want to put up with it anymore. I want to be vindicated publicly. I want my reputation to be fixed. That's what I want.
My guy, the person responsible for slandering your reputation has been you the whole time. Now, I do need to note, there is a sad part of this, and that is that one of his children is actually a Nazi. Like, I think it's his eldest son, because I actually do have a video where I covered his eldest son and some of the things he had said online, and he's a piece of work, but like, it's also just kind of the kind of person you would expect to come about from someone like Steven Anderson.
Now, what does this look like? Well, I would say either A, I want my children to come out publicly and recant the evil things that they said about me and my wife, and I want them to admit that they lied and or exaggerated about the discipline that they received. I want them to publicly admit that they were wrong and publicly tell the world that we were good parents, because that is the truth. And you know what? Maybe you believe that. Maybe you don't believe that. I don't care. I was there and I know it's the truth. And you know what?
Every abuser ever has said those things. It does not add any weight to you being good or bad. Nobody's truly the villain in their own story.
You might be sitting there thinking, well, Pastor Anderson's a great man of God. He's spirit-filled. He's done a lot of great works, but he must have really been a crappy parent. He must have prioritized the ministry and just kind of put his kids on the back burner. Guess what? That's not true. I'm a family man. I spent time with those children. I invest in them. I sacrifice with them. I love them. And you know what? I had probably the best relationship with my daughter that I could possibly imagine any father having with his daughter is the relationship that I feel like I had with Miriam. Do you know how surreal it is to watch her go on YouTube with some faggot in drag a little?
By the way, that would be Dead Domain he's talking about. That's the person in drag that he's angry about. It's Dead Domain.
Little man in drag and just tell lies about me and trash me and say all these things? I mean, it's just unbelievable. You know, and it's like, and ask me how motivated I am to have a super close relationship with my teenage daughter, Rebecca, right here, 17 years old, and my teenage daughter, Anna, right here, 15 years old. You know, it's kind of hard for me to even want to invest in that relationship when I had the perfect, ideal relationship with Miriam, and that's what she did to me.
Do you think maybe it wasn't that you had the perfect, ideal relationship? Do you think maybe you were being placated because you were being a terrible person? Just throwing that out there. I know for a fact that when I was a shittier person, when I was someone who I would consider to be a very, very harmful person, I had a relationship like this, where I believed that I had done everything. I was the most like great person that I possibly could have been. I was everything that I needed to be for them. I was trying to make them happy, always prioritizing them. That's what it was in my brain. Do you want to know what happened several years later? After I had been in therapy, after I'd learned more about myself, after I had learned more about the world. Do you want to know what happened? I sent them a DM saying, oh my God, I was abusive, wasn't I? I was a monster, wasn't I? Like, Mr. Anderson, nobody is the villain in their own story. Usually you have to have your face rubbed in it to find out that you were, in fact, not a good person. That is something that you don't get to just have in the back of your brain. The back of your brain is going to tell you that you're the one in the right, or it's going to give you an anxiety attack. We often need the perspective of other people to figure out that we ourselves come up short. Anderson, what you need is therapy.
But you know what? Option B is in God's control. And this is why I'm a little upset. This is why I'm mad. Because option B is that I want God to punish them in a spectacular public way so that I can be vindicated and so that the Lord can show that he's on my side. And I'm talking about my brother Clint, and I'm talking about my 4 evil, rebellious children, and I'm talking about Paul Wittenberger. Those 6 people need to reap, they either need to get right with God or they need to reap the whirlwind, or I am not going to continue pastoring. I'm just telling you that right now. And you know what?
Yeah, so we know exactly what to do then. We know exactly what to do to get Steven Anderson to stop being a hate preacher on the internet. It's easy. It's just let the world keep turning exactly the way it's going right now, and it stops. The one head of the Hydra of the NIFB disappears. It's so easy. This is the easiest thing on the planet. I can't believe that all we had to do was just sit back and let the world turn.
But if God loves me so much, and God wants to bless me so much, and God wants to use me so much as he has for the last 20 years, you know what? I'm asking God to throw me a bone here and do something for me.
This sounds so desperate. This sounds like something that I don't think I've... So, usually my experience with Christian preachers is that they are a little more humble than this. What's going to happen when God doesn't answer? Are you going to feel like maybe it was not right for God not to answer? Are you going to start judging God? Because that'd be kind of funny.
And you know, there are a lot of other bonus enemies that would be great too. But those are the big ones, in that order. And look, any of these people, any of these wicked people who participate in this is more than welcome to repent whenever they want. And you know what? I've already demonstrated that I will, from the heart, forgive anyone who repents. That's my Christian duty, and I've already demonstrated that. I will forgive from the heart anyone who truly repents. However, if they don't repent, they need to be destroyed by God. You could pick.
If you don't repent, you need to be destroyed. Destroyed? What in the fucking edge? What in the hedge is this?
Any definition. We could take every single possible definition that cursing your father and mother has, and my 4 children have done that. They publicly tried to ruin my ministry, ruin my career, ruin my marriage, ruin my reputation. They said publicly that they wanted me and my wife to go to prison, that my wife should go to prison for 20 years. And let me tell you something, my wife is a great mom.
Yeah, but your perspective on that. Okay, so has anybody here read A Child Called It? Has anybody here read that book? Because I have. It and its sequels. And a major conceit from that book is that the mom never thought of what she was doing as evil. Ever once. But she did such horrible things in that book as making the protag of the book, real person, by the way, it's an autobiography, making the protag of that book get locked in a bathroom without ventilation, forced to clean it with ammonia and bleach, with the instructions that they needed to combine them in order to effectively clean the ventless room. Yes, Dorito, yes, that is mustard gas. You're entirely correct. Yes, if you have not read those books, if you have not sat down and just uncomfortably absorbed that story, you should. You really, really should. Said, didn't Peggy Hill do something like that in an episode of King of the Hill? Little Firecat says she stabbed her kid in that book. Yes. And you know what happened? You know what happened when protag of the book left and joined the Air Force? They came back to try to make amends with their mom. And then they found that their mom had another child, and that all of the abuse that had been heaped on them while they were with their mother was now on the new child, because they could see it in their fucking eyes. They could see the bruises. They could see the dependency. They could see everything because they knew what they looked like in the mirror. But not once did that mom in that series, to my recollection, ever come to terms with the fact that she was an abuser. Now, I don't know every detail that happened with Anderson and his kids, but I do know that the person who is least likely to have a full scope of the situation outside of people who are not involved is this man right here.
Super loving. I mean, she's a great parent. These little sniveling brats just don't appreciate anything because they just have, I guess, these first world problems or whatever. Wanting us to go to prison. They said they wanted us to get our kids taken away. I mean, they did interview after interview lamenting how, CPS isn't doing their job. CPS needs to come take the kids away from my parents. Isaac saying, CPS needs to come. John saying CPS. Miriam saying CPS. Calling CPS, right? And I don't even know if I've publicly revealed this before, but, well, first of all, they also said other horrible things about me that I can't even repeat behind the pulpit because they're just vile.
I mean, you could, but you won't. You said way worse on your own pulpit. I know it.
And I'm not going to speak that way behind the pulpit, but, they've cursed me in every possible definition of that word, okay? They're wicked, and they need to repent immediately, or they need to be punished by God, and everyone who has egged them on and encouraged them to do this should get the same punishment. And until they repent, I never want to see them ever again. And people are like, you need to just make things right with your children, Pastor Anderson. You just need to just swallow your pride, be the bigger person. Hell no. Absolutely not. I never want to see them again. Life is too short to have those kind of toxic, wicked, evil people in your life. Why would I want those evil pieces of trash influencing my other 8 children? You think I want my other 8 children to grow up and be rotten like that? I don't ever want to see them again. If I ever see them again, it'll be too soon. You need to fix things. I'm sorry, but I'm not the one who did wrong, period. I'm the parent. They're the child. I reared them biblically. I followed the Bible to the best of my ability. I never said I was a perfect parent or that.
I love how quickly we go from I followed the Bible to a T. I never said I was a perfect parent. Yeah, you know what made you not a perfect parent, Mr. Anderson? The Bible. The Bible. I'm sorry, but the spare the rod, spoil the child shit might be actually the problem.
I never made any mistakes. I was not a perfect parent. Yes, I made mistakes, but I wasn't even just a good parent. I was a great parent, and I don't care whether you believe me or not. It's true. And my wife's a great mom, and I'm a great dad. And I'd put us in the top 99% of the planet. And you can like it or lump it. I don't care. And so I need God to intercede for me and to fix my situation.
Sucker says, followed the Bible to a T. Did he kill any of the kids that talked back to him? Actually, technically, he wants them to die because he has said that if they don't repent, he wants God to deal with them, to smite them. So, I mean, he is following that part.
And to go to bat for me. And if he does not do that, I'm just telling you right now, I am on my way out. I'll be here Wednesday. God willing, I'll be here next Sunday. But I'm telling you that my heart is not in it. And my heart's not going to be in it until God fixes my situation. And Jonah chapter 4 is how I feel. And I'm going to get up here. And I promise you this. Here's the problem. I can't promise that I'm going to do this job forever. But I will promise you this. I will never get up behind this pulpit and BS you about anything, ever. And I never have, and I never will. And if I get up here and say something, I mean it from the... I'm not Tommy McMurtry riling up the base, okay?
He's even angry with McMurtry? Oh no, the pumpkin! Oh my God! Oh, that is precious!
Everything I say is real, and I mean it, period. And I promise you that. If I'm up here preaching on Wednesday, every single word will be truth from the Bible and from the heart of Pastor Anderson. It's not going to be me going through the motions or saying things I don't believe. But I'm just telling you, my heart...
Dorito says, Suris, your mic peaked at the laughter and it cut out 100%. I just said that that's precious. He hates the gourd fucker. It's great.
Is not in this job anymore, and it's not going to be in this job anymore until God shows himself mighty on my behalf. And that's where I'm at. And you know what? I feel like I owe it to you to tell you the truth. And so maybe this is an ugly sermon. Maybe you didn't like to hear it. But you know what? I told you the truth tonight.
Man, it is so weird. It is so weird knowing that I'm a fucking part of it. Oh my God. Oh, it feels so terrible. Just awful. Just genuinely terrifying and bad. Just terrifying and bad. Anyway, let's talk about the things that he actually said. The pastor, Steven Anderson's daughter, alleges home life was so bad that she remembers, even as a little kid, praying that God would kill me. Well, that ain't good. Following our recent stories of Pastor Steven Anderson's son Isaac detailing vicious abuse and beatings at the hands of his father, and then his other son John alleging years of abuse by his father against his mom, Steven Anderson said the F slurs twice on the pulpit of this video. He says it all the time. A third Anderson child has come forward, Miriam Anderson, 17, claiming that her home life was so bad that from the time that she was 11 to 15, she thought about killing herself every day. And I remember even as a little kid praying that God would kill me, saying that he was very abusive to both my mom and us as kids. From a very young age, I can remember my dad would hit my mom. He would assault her in various ways. To give an example, we always had these bar stools in our kitchen, and I remember as a kid, they were always broken because he would throw them at my mom. He would hit her with them. He would hurl them across the room at her head and stuff. And so we probably bought new bar stools every month. Growing up, it was ridiculous. My mom got upset at him because he used her sewing scissors for something that wasn't sewing. And she had told him, don't do that, these are my special sewing scissors. And I remember my dad broke all of her sewing scissors in half, and he was throwing them at her. And they were like, I remember some of them hit her face on her arms and stuff, and I remember being a little kid and having to clean up all the broken in half sewing scissors. First of all, you know why you don't use sewing scissors for shit that isn't sewing? It dulls the blades. The blades need to be incredibly sharp to actually go through fabric easily. If you use them on anything else and dull them a little bit, it is very hard to get them to what they need to be again. So, yeah. It was her job as the oldest daughter to protect the kids from this as best she could, which was not always possible. So it was a lot of things that growing up, it was like, I not only saw my mom abused in a lot of ways, he would beat her with his electrical extension cable, which he would also beat us with at times. Sometimes they would send us out of the house. Sometimes they would be like, okay, go to the backyard. And we'd all be standing in the backyard, and we could hear my mom in the house screaming and crying. Oh, I remember that. Not from that perspective. I remember my stepdad. It took me until later in life to realize that when I was told to go outside and play in the backyard, that was them getting into a fucking fight. So, memory unlocked. Ouch. So then sometimes he would just be angry and he wouldn't even care to send us away. So I'd have to take my siblings, put them up in the other room and try to distract them, read them a story or something. But it was, it was kind of hard to distract them from that thing.
As you said, my dad is Steven Anderson, and a lot of people know him because obviously he's kind of a well-known preacher, especially in like IFB circles, and he started that NIFB or whatever, that whole movement, which is like obviously like an affiliation of pastors. So the thing is, though, like what people didn't realize, I don't think in like my church or like other churches, was like he was very abusive, like both to my mom and us, like as kids. From a very young age, I can remember my dad would hit my mom. He would like assault her in various ways. To give an example, which like this is like, something random, but we always had like these bar stools in our kitchen, and I remember as a kid, like they were always broken because he would like throw them at my mom. He would hit her with them.
And there's Isaac's conversation saying, I mentioned my dad breaking the bar stool I was on in my interview, but that was not an isolated incident. I don't recall him ever hitting someone with a bar stool, but he would be raging out and sometimes smashing them on the countertop. He would also open the cupboards and hurl drinking glasses and plates at the wall for dramatic effect. On one occasion, a shard hit my mom and cut her.
Like hurl them across the room at her head and stuff. And so like we probably bought new bar stools like every month. Like growing up, it was ridiculous. And we were not like very well to do. So like oftentimes we would literally like us kids would like have to like glue these bar stools back together. Other times, like I remember he got upset at her because she got upset at him because he had like used her sewing scissors for something that like wasn't sewing. And she had like told him like, oh, like, don't do that. These are like my special sewing scissors, because my mom was like super into crafting or whatever. And I remember my dad like broke all of her like sewing scissors in half, and he was like throwing them at her. Like, and they were like, I remember like some like hit her in the face and like on her arms and stuff. And I remember like being a little kid and like having to clean up all the like broken in half sewing scissors. So it was a lot of things like that growing up, where it was like, I not only like saw my mom abused in a lot of ways, like he would like beat her with like this like electrical like extension cable, which he also like would beat us with at times. Sometimes they would like send us out of the house. Like sometimes they would be like, okay, go to the backyard, and we would like all be like standing in the backyard, and we could like hear my mom in the house like screaming and crying, and my dad like beating her. And then sometimes like he would just be angry and he wouldn't like even care to like, send us away. So it was like, I would have to like take my siblings, like, and like put them in the other room and try to distract them and like read them a story or something. But it was like, it's kind of hard to distract from that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I wanted to go ahead and play that part, just so you guys had a little bit of context for the kinds of things that have been said by Steven Anderson's children about Steven Anderson. Top 99%. He's in the top 1% of all parents. It's kind of like being in the top percentile of Rattata. It's just not really a great claim, honestly. That said, I think it is hilarious to know that once upon a time, I was in a meeting with Holy Kool-Aid and Ocean and Jimmy and a bunch of other creators, and we were discussing exactly how to execute everything we needed to do in regards to the Tommy McMurtry Dord situation. I remember having conversations with creators about people wanting to go to the Make America Straight Again thing in order to get footage, and how dangerous it might be and who to talk down to if need be. It's very surreal being here years after that and knowing that this is where that all ended up coalescing. Not to say that any one of us, and especially not me, I'm one of the smallest creators of the people that I mentioned, just in that meeting alone. I'm one of the smallest people there. But it is very strange and very surreal to see this now, knowing that history. I don't know which tipping point it was. The tipping point likely was probably Dead Domain. I think Jimmy and Dead Domain probably had the biggest impact in regards to this. But it's definitely a lot is definitely a lot to think about now. Anyway, Steven Anderson's fucking gay, and I just thought you guys should remember that. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.